Once upon a time in a small, beautiful village, there lived a farmer named Samir. He had a big piece of land, and every year he worked very hard in his fields. That year, his harvest was the best he had ever seen. His land was fully loaded with golden wheat fields, and that year, his storeroom was so full of golden wheat that he could hardly shut the doors. Samir looked at the piles of grain and smiled greedily. "Ah, this is all mine," he whispered to himself. "I will not give a single grain to anyone. With this wheat, I will eat well and become the richest man in the village." The next morning, his neighbor Ferris came. His field had been destroyed by heavy rains. Ferris said softly and hesitated, "Samir, brother, my children are hungry. Could you please give me some wheat? I will repay you after the next harvest." But Samir frowned and waved him away. "No, Ferris, I worked hard, really. Hard for this. If you want food, work harder on your own land." Ferris left sadly, shaking his head disappointedly. Later that day, a poor widow came with her little daughter. "Samir, sir," she pleaded, "we haven't eaten in 2 days. Could you spare just a handful of wheat for my child?" But Samir shouted, "Go away! I am not here to feed the whole village. Not a single grain." Women walked away with tears in her eyes, while her daughter looked longingly at the overflowing storeroom. That night, when Samir was fast asleep, tiny pests crept into his storeroom. At first it was only a few. They chewed on the wheat quietly, but the next night more came, and the night after that, hundreds filled the storeroom. Within days, the golden wheat began to rot. When Samir opened the doors, his heart sank. "My wheat! My beautiful wheat!" he cried. "It's turning black. Worms everywhere." He tried drying it in the sun. He tried sealing the doors. But the pests kept eating and eating. Soon, most of the wheat was ruined. One morning, the wise village elder passed by and saw Samir crying. "Samir," old man said gently, "grain is not meant to be locked away. It is meant to be shared. When you give to others, you receive blessings. But when you keep everything for yourself, even what you have will slip away." Samir bowed his head in shame. He remembered Ferris's hungry children and widow's pleading little girl. A change of heart. The next harvest season, Samir did something very different. After gathering his wheat, he called the villagers together and said humbly, "My friends, forgive me for being selfish last year. This time, I want to share my harvest with all of you." The villagers were surprised, but very happy. They each took what they needed. And though Samir had given away a lot, his storeroom still looked full. Not a single pest came that year, and his wheat stayed fresh and golden. Ferris smiled and said, "See, Samir, when you share, blessings multiply." Samir smiled too. For the first time, his heart felt light and peaceful. Moral of the story: greed leads to loss, but kindness and sharing bring blessings, happiness, and peace.